podcast hosts Gabe and Leo discuss topics that directly and indirectly affect the LGBTQ plus community. Their generation gap has them seeing the world through very different points of view. They fight, they argue, they laugh, and they get off topic. But they make sense. Most of the time. Are you ready for this episode of Let's Talk Trans? Well, let's get started. Alright, hey, welcome to Sunday night. It is Sunday night with Let's Talk Trans. I'm your host, Gabriel, and unfortunately, of course, like usual, Leo has run off and run amok. However, as promised, I brought the one, the only, the incomparable, blah, 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 blah. I screwed that one up. Alright, well, whatever. My awesome, my oldest, my firstborn, Kai.
Hi, guys.
Kai's here with us today because, we want to talk about LGBTQ in college. Some of the things that college students face, some of the things that they don't face, now with a lot of schools going LGBTQ friendly. But before we get into that, I have to tell you something. So, if you listened to last Wednesday, we talked about the school in Nebraska that had kind of like basically like put the kibosh on their school paper for talking about the LGBTQ plus community. And there's been some developments. First off, someone from that town actually listened to the podcast, heard it, and told me that the whole town is basically like kind of in an uproar over this. It's a very conservative town. There's only like 50,000 people in the town, so it's a relatively small town. People who are in rural communities are going, that's pretty big. No, it really isn't as far as towns go. But it's a small town. And so they reached out and said, yeah, the whole town's kind of in an uproar over it. The other thing is that the superintendent from that school district reached out to local media. Not to me, that would be too much, but reached out to local media and said, hey, look, whoa, despite what you've all heard, the paper's not banned. We've just suspended it temporarily until we get some criteria in place. So already the school district's kind of backpedaling a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, so Kai, you've been at school 3 weeks now.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, what do you think?
I like it. There's a lot of events that's happening every week. There is dorms are nice.
All right, so for people who don't know, where do you go to school?
I go to Penn Tech down in Williamsport.
Pennsylvania College of Technology.
Yes.
This is Penn State's technical school, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So for students who maybe go to a technical school, who go to a technical high school, this is kind of like the next step, right?
It very much is.
I know we've talked about, we say that, kids that go off to tech schools, which we're pushing now. We're now pushing technical high schools. We're now pushing more of the technical jobs because, well, those of us who, went off and followed our parents and said, you have to go to college, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever have you, we now have a shortage of people who do manual labor. And so now we're pushing the technical schools again. But this is the next step past a technical high school. You're actually specializing in just one thing, just one topic, and it's a 2 or 4 year program, and you come out with an engineering degree after 4 years, which means what exactly? You don't know. She literally asked me and goes, she's like, I don't know.
I really don't know.
I have no clue. You're spending my money, but I don't know what I'm doing it for.
I'm doing welding for 4 years, and that I should be doing great.
And okay, all right. So you're gonna do welding for 4 years. You're gonna come out with an engineering degree. So you'll have a bachelor's in welding and metal fabrication, which theoretically should make you a supervisor when you are able to be out. You'll actually be supervising other people.
Fun.
I know, it's scary, right?
So much fun.
It's scary to think that you will be supervising other people.
Yeah, me?
After Cards Against Humanity tonight. And then all the snorting.
Wow.
All right,
Calling
anyway.
me out now.
I did. I called you out there. LGBTQ. How does your school, how does Pennsylvania College of Technology support the LGBTQ community?
They support it very well. When me and you were getting everything ready for Penn Tech, there was a LGBTQ dorm program that you can write up your put in your sexuality,
Gender,
and all that stuff, and they will put you in what they think would suit you with better. And all my roommates, I love all my roommates.
Okay, so I'm going to translate Kai here a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
What Kai is saying is that when we were filling out the paperwork, one of the questions that the school asked us was, are you a member of the LGBTQ plus community? Do you support the community? Kai said yes. And the next question we got was, would you feel more comfortable being in an LGBTQ supported dorm? And so what they did was they took everybody who's LGBTQ, they looked at their schedules, they looked at their preferences, whether it's sexual orientation, gender affiliation, gender identity, and all the other, acronyms of alphabet soup that we have, and said, okay, you should fit with this person and you guys should fit. And they put them into groups of 4 and basically gave them an apartment. And you guys kind of have one of the smaller dorms, correct? I mean, you guys have, I know you have that little itty bitty, you don't have any of the other buildings. You just have that one little one.
I feel like we got, the first ever, dorm building that they ever made on.
That was Dog Dorm. Okay. And you said you get along with your dormies. I don't want to. We're not going to call anybody out because the school is very adamant about your privacy.
Yes.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of your dormies, their parents don't know.
No, some of them actually do not know.
And that's, I'm assuming it's because they obviously haven't come out to their parents yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still able to support or go into these dorms. And as far as the school goes, are there LGBTQ clubs or groups, or do you have somebody you could talk to if you should need it?
Not that I'm aware of yet. I mostly have talked to everyone that's in that dorm building.
Mm-hmm.
Their LGBTQ supporters are part of it.
Right.
And they all seem really, really cool people to talk to.
So you actually haven't, I mean, now, obviously everybody... By week 3, everybody knows that that's the LGBT. Everybody on campus knows that that's the LGBTQ dorm.
Kind of, sort of, no, not really.
You don't think so?
No, because I realized that the dorm that I'm in is the only dorm that has the LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the ones that are around that building are just normal people. I shouldn't say normal people.
Mm-hmm.
But...
yeah. We'll call them cisgender, or yeah.
Cisgender people. And I don't think they know that my dorm is the LGBTQ.
Okay. Is there any security issues you got? How do you feel safe on campus? Have you had any concerns as far as LGBTQ concerns? Has anybody walked up to you and go, hey, you're one of them, or?
No, I've actually, one of my classmates from actually welding asked me if I was part of LGBTQ, and I said yes. And they were like, oh, that's really cool. And they were really chill about it, too.
Again, this kind of comes up. It's one of those things where your generation is way more open and more accepting than my generation. Mm. Any of your teachers show support?
I haven't asked any of them that yet, and I don't know if they are. I feel like they do, but at the same time, I feel like they don't.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell mentality.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said there's nothing, you see no pride flags or anything like that on campus? None of your counselors or? No,
I mostly see all the pride flags and everything in our dorm, especially. Because what I did for my dorm mates is I decided to do little gift baskets on moving day, and 2 of my roommates did not have their pride flags that they were part of. So I bought them each one that they liked, and they love them.
I'm assuming you waited until after the parents had left, just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Okay. And have you guys, I'm assuming you've had conversations between yourselves and your about.
Oh, every day. Every day we have those kinds of conversations, and we get to know each other a little bit more by the day we have those conversations.
So, God forbid there be an incident on campus, or even off campus, relating to LGBTQ. Would you feel comfortable going to an RA if it happened in the dorm? A teacher, a counselor? Would you feel like as a member of the LGBTQ community that your school was supportive?
Please identify that. I'm sorry.
Oh, did I? Okay, restate it, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had an incident, let's say some dummy comes on starts picking on you because you're wearing your flag, or they saw you with somebody, and just kind of being a knucklehead. Okay, would you? I mean, adamantly, do you feel like the campus would support you? Do you feel like you could go to your counselor and it would be legitimately looked into or legitimately investigated by the campus police if it were to come to that? Do you feel safe on campus?
I would feel safe on campus if it kept happening every day or constantly, and I went to an RA or a counselor or a teacher. I feel like they would do something about it.
So then your school is supportive.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is more of a. I know the answer to this one because I'm a parent. I'm your parent.
Yeah.
Our listeners don't know, and this primarily goes to students or people who are starting to look at schools, parents who want to know that their kids are going to be safe at schools. Was it the LGBTQ community support at Penn College? Did it play any factor in the reason why you chose this school?
Not really. I didn't know they had the LGBT dorm. I'm trying to think. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, I didn't know they had the LGBTQ dorm program when I first wanted to go. I really wanted to go because I've heard so many great things about it. I went to tour there my junior year of high school, and I loved every second of it. I loved all the welding tools that I got to use. Oh, there's a torch I got to play with last week.
It's called a plasma torch.
It's very fun.
Yeah, burn stuff at high velocity and high temperature.
It's very fun.
So, and you said you didn't know that the school had an LGBT. There's nothing on their website. There's absolutely no evidence outside, for the public, for someone who's looking to look and see. Oh, this school supports LGBTQ. Oh, this school doesn't support LGBTQ. There's not a pride flag in the corner somewhere, is there?
Probably not. Not the first time I checked the website, but it probably is going to be at some point in the future.
Okay. All right. So the next question then is, if a student has or has a desire to go to a school that is supported by the LGBTQ community, how could they? Because, like I said, you didn't know when you first went to this campus. So, how could a student find out if their school supports the LGBT community? What programs that school might have?
I would mostly check the background checks of
the school.
I would send emails and call some people at that school to see if they support it and see what they can do to support it.
Okay. All right. And who do you think? I mean, you obviously go on their website and find some phone numbers. Guidance counselors?
Guidance counselors, advisors. What I have is an advisor and a leap advisor. You can probably check both of them out to see if they both
That's
support
okay.
the LGBTQ at that college. Counselors, mostly.
I didn't. Now I gotta tell you guys, I did not warn Kai about these questions. I told her that I was going to be like, hey, look, we're going to talk about this. But there wasn't like some script that I handed to her and said, hey, look, read over these and think about your questions. So she's getting blindsided by these questions. So when she stumbles and she just kind of, you can't see the facial expressions, but she's literally like, there's an oh crap expression on her face, and she's like, I gotta think about it, and she's coming off them just like that. So you got to give her props for that. And I will give her props. Hold on here 1 second. I'm going to give her some props. There we go. There's some props. For Kai doing the awesome, okay. Leo never lets me play these, so, okay. All right, I'm sorry. Okay. So, anyway. So, let's see. So, we talked to your LGBTQ community in your school, and now, I know you're, again, you have roommates who are not LGBT, or who are LGBTQ but haven't come out to their parents. Have they asked you, like, how did you come out to your parent? Like, have you had those conversations?
I had one conversation about it to one of my roommates.
I see, because I've met your roomies. I've met your dorm mates. They obviously know I'm transgender. So
they adore you. They absolutely adore you.
Well, yeah, I'm the dad. I don't know how that happened, but I'm the cool dad. I was the cool mom, but now I'm the cool dad. Shoot, I got a podcast. How can I not be cool?
Actually, I should probably tell them about your podcast. I have not told them about.
Well, they're gonna find out because we're gonna share this, and then they're gonna listen, and then it's gonna get all over the place. And maybe one of these days, we'll do a Zoom meeting with all of you, and we'll just, like, pre-record the whole conversation, and then I just have to...
I think they would absolutely love that.
We can do that some night. Because, like I said, in your dorm, you have you who's pansexual. Mm-hmm. You have a transgender student. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have another pansexual student?
No.
Okay, who are the other two?
We're all different sexualities.
You're all different.
We're all different sexualities,
oh,
guys.
It's a fruit salad. All right, fruit salad was not the term I meant. It was not calling people fruits. And I'm sorry, I just got like 2 hours of Cards Against Humanity. My mind is just in the wrong places on all holy. Yeah.
So we have me, the pansexual.
Okay.
We have transgender.
Okay.
We have the bisexual, and we have the lesbian.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's definitely wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like the LGBT. That is the LGBTQ. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Wow. And like I said, I know at least two have not told their parents.
Well, one of them actually asked to tell their mom to tell their father.
Okay.
And I think the father now knows.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Listen, I met one of their parents at the Get Acquainted event.
Oh my goodness.
They were very, very conservative. Very conservative parents. Like,
they're very energetic.
Like, not wanting to let go of their baby. Conservative. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. Parents don't ever think there's something wrong with wanting to hold on to your child.
He still hasn't let me go yet.
No. I'm way better than I think that these parents are. I did not spend the night at Get Acquainted weekend.
You couldn't.
That Thursday night thing?
Yeah.
I could have spent that night.
Oh, you could have?
Remember her parents did.
Oh, yeah.
But I chose not to because I wanted you to have that experience because I didn't want you to... I wanted to be the first 2 weeks of school to be a little bit more...
getting used to being alone.
And being school. Remember I told you this. I told you this was my experience from boot camp. I said those first 2 weeks are going to be rough. And then it's going to be like a light switch, and you're just going to...
And that's exactly what happened.
And
I'm used to calling you every day to 2 times a week.
Yeah, that's what it was. The first 2 weeks, it was like, oh my god, I'm here, I'm okay, like text messages nonstop. And then last week, it was like, there was cricket chirping. I'm like, oh my god. Like, your dad actually messaged me and said, is Kai still alive? Because I haven't heard anything. I'm like, yes, Kai is still alive. I'm busy message. Which was fine. I said, that's how I know that I've done my job. It's quite alright with that. So, like I said, is there anything that you would think the school could improve on? Like, that would be the next one. We've talked about the pros, but like, aside from like having it out there that, you know, hey, we are an LGBTQ friendly school, what could they improve on? What could they do more for the community, you think?
Maybe doing like events here and there for the LGBTQ.
Okay.
So they show off that they really do support it.
You want like an LGBTQ like newsletter, or you what? Are we talking like drag shows at the school?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, RuPaul.
That'd be
Yeah, drag
so
show.
much
Yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm. It'd be a Powder Puff game in the making. You're not even old enough to remember what Powder Puff games are.
I don't want to know.
It's where the football players dress up as the cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders put on the pads and go play the game.
I would definitely do that.
That was a thing when I was in high school.
The thing is, I'm going out to try cheerleading, which is the 15th. That's the meeting, and then at some point next week is the tryouts.
Yeah. So, you're like I said, you're getting really busy with school, and I'm assuming at some point here in the near future that I'm gonna hear, oh, I can't come up this weekend. It's only a matter of time.
Not yet.
It's only a matter. It's going to be a weekend where you can't study, or you've got something major going on, and yeah. So,
you'll get one of those text messages.
I know I'm going to get more of them in the wintertime too, when you can't drive up.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. I apologize profusely. So, I say, talk to me more about school. Tell me more about.
More about school? You want to hear me talk about school, Dad? This is news to me.
Yeah, right. Me not liking school. Yeah. Like I said, as far as let's take it a different direction then. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna take this in a different direction. One, we pulled up, and you guys know this. You guys have heard me do this. I do this on every podcast. Going online and pulling up reviews, pulling up stats. That's just what I do. So we went online to the Princeton Review, or PrincetonReview.com, and it lists the top 25 LGBTQ friendly schools, basically in like a ranking system. And Penn College, or Penn State, I should say, is here somewhere. Maybe not in the top 25, but it's here somewhere. But anyway, a lot of these colleges and universities are pretty decent. Let's see here. We've got Brown University. Brown is huge, up in Providence. They're ranked at number 4. We've got Reed College in Portland, Oregon. Franklin W. College of Engineering in Pfizer College.
Rice
University in Texas. Well, I mean, like, whatever. Yeah, Rice University, Houston, Texas.
I just like the name.
Yeah, right? The University of North Carolina, Asheville. They're ranked at number 9. Columbia University out of New York City is ranked number 14. Not a surprise there. Let's see. Emerson in Boston. The State University of New York, so SUNY, Purchase College. And, yeah. And then, what?
What's number 1?
Number 1, the number 1 ranked. You're going to ask me. It is Mount Holyoke. Holyoke?
In Maine?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yep. Which is kind of funny because, I mean, we still struggle with getting all of our, like, we still don't have, like, people listening in all 50 states. Yeah. We're missing 5 states.
Well, to be honest here, there is the best 388 colleges. Right now, this is just listing the best 25.
This top 25, right.
So it's actually very good that there's 388 colleges that support this.
Oh, you think. Those are the best 388 colleges. But here's the thing. How many universities and colleges do you think there are in the United States?
Probably more than that.
Oh, my God. In the U.S. alone?
Probably. Oh!
5,300, and you're talking about
5,300 colleges.
The 5,300 colleges.
That is amazing.
And you're talking about 388 that are LGBT. That's not even, like...
That's just the United States. Imagine all around the world.
I know. Absolutely. That's college. Yeah, there's 300 or 5,300. Wow, 5,300. 5,300 colleges and universities in the United States. They range from Ivy League schools to beauty schools. Yeah, the dogs do that during podcasts. The dogs are bored with our podcast, so that's okay. But the thing of it is the reason why we looked that up is because we looked up 10 of the most LGBTQ friendly universities in the school, and top universities came out with Ohio State, University of Colorado, the University of Massachusetts, the University of Pennsylvania, the University of Washington, and Rutgers, which is a state university for New Jersey, New Brunswick. These schools were all huge LGBT free, and if you go, you can go on tons of websites. CampusPride.org has their own list. Penn State is on there. So is Montclair State University in New Jersey, Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Ithaca College. What we're saying is, and what we're talking about, even Princeton's on the list. What we're talking about, the Pennsylvania State University and the University of Pennsylvania. What we're talking about isn't the fact that that Penn College is the only school. What we're saying is that when you're doing your research for school,
that there's more than just Penn Tech and Penn State. There is multiple in possibly the state that you're living in.
Right.
So don't be worried about thinking of going out of state to go to this LGBTQ safe college. There is going to be a safe LGBTQ college in your state. You just have to look for it.
Even what we would classify as conservative, or we call it red states. States that are, Texas is a primary example. Yeah. There was one right there in Houston. And the thing of it is that kids nowadays, it's not just, what's my topic, what's my major, what are the dorms like, what are the campuses like, but it also now has to focus on the safety of the student. And a lot of students, or a lot of schools, recognize, and Kai's going to kind of roll her eyes because I always use this, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the right above, the first tier of Maslow, it's a pyramid. It's a giant pyramid, but so right under, making sure that a student has a house and food and bed and those things are protected, is making sure that a student feels safe, because a student cannot access their academic excellence. That's a tongue twister. If they don't feel safe.
You made it that way.
I know. All right. So if a student doesn't feel safe, then they can't achieve their best. And so schools know this, and schools now know that they need to provide these safe spaces in order for students to be the best that they can be. So one of those things that I asked Leo, not Leo, sorry,
Wow.
Kai, I'm allowed, at least I didn't call you a dog, or the dog.
You always call me.
I have done that. One of those things, though, was, does your school have safe spaces?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Have you seen a safe space symbol anywhere, though?
Not yet.
So, that might be something to take back, because, and I talk about this as a, transgender in my work environment. I am a guinea pig. I talk about it, not to nibble on things, but
not the ones that we have downstairs?
Not the ones we have downstairs or even in Leo's room. But, I'm one of the first. I'm coming out there. I'm setting the precedence. I'm making sure that my facility is prepped for the next, because there will be. It's only a matter of time. So, perhaps because your school doesn't have safe space signs, or you haven't seen them, that's something that needs to be, maybe you need to be the person to go out there and go, hey, how come there aren't?
I probably would be.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like the question is, have you ever heard of an LGBTQ fraternity? Or sorority? Do you know what those are?
No. Look, I probably have been told this before, but my brain is, I forget things very easily.
Yes, you do. We love you, but yeah.
It's okay, guys.
Excuse me, I have a horrible itch. Okay, so it's an organization on a college campus where the sole purpose is to foster friendship and community, among other things. A sorority is for girls, fraternities for boys. Okay.
Okay.
Usually they have all the alpha, beta, phi, delta, quadra. They use the Greek alphabet.
Okay.
Okay. There are a couple on your campus. I wonder if there's an LGBTQ one.
Probably.
I don't know.
I know what my homework is when I go home.
Right? See, now you've got some homework. LGBTQ sororities. Look at that. Fraternities and sororities for LGBTQ. These are all of them.
Wow.
So the question, there's only, what do we got here? 5? 7.
Wait.
Yeah, there's 7.
Hold on.
3, 7. I love you. You're cute. So the thing of it is, there are fraternities, sororities that are LGBTQ. That being said, you could technically reach out to one of these and start a chapter at your school. You can't see it. Kai's mouth just dropped. She's like, holy crap, I really have some homework to do now.
I really do have homework to do now, guys.
But what you do is you like in this case, you click on one, you find out what it is. College-based sorority for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, non-binaries. We just picked on Gamma Rho. Yeah, I'm going to mess it up, so I'm not going to say it.
Sorry.
Is a sorority dedicated to providing social support system for young college students. So, I mean, theoretically, like, all of these you could, you know what I mean?
I'm so sorry, I yawned.
I like Kappa Theta Epsilon because I can pronounce it.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason I like it. Actually, there's other reasons, but all right. Kappa Theta Epsilon sorority is a first Greek-letter sorority established and incorporated in LGBT, professional and entrepreneurial women. Membership is excluded to lesbian women and primarily college-educated. So this is only for lesbian women. But to see, there's tons of them out here. This one here, Delta L Phi. What on earth?
What was that?
I don't know. It sounded like
Ghost.
Maybe. So this is a fraternity. So that's for men. Gay, bisexual, transgender, and progressive men. These are probably sibling.
Probably.
Yeah, they're probably sibling. But you can see.
I want to know what this one is.
Kappa Alpha L.
It's probably also siblings. I think these are all siblings, actually.
Not necessarily. Sorority for professional lesbians. Again. So let's look at Zeta. For masculine identified lesbians.
So,
I don't know. And Sigma Phi Beta. Sigma Phi Beta is a college for gay, straight, bisexual, transgender men. It's founded at Arizona State in 2003. So it looks like there might be one. You could try this Omicron. Lesbian women of color.
ooh.
So that one's even.
I like how they put of color.
Yeah, that's even one that's even more restrictive. But you see what I mean? It's like, there are sororities out there for the LGBTQ community. And there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't request to start a chapter when all you'd have to do is look up and apply and let them know where you wanted to start it and so on and so forth. But anyway, the other reason why I bring this up is, did you know that there are scholarships for LGBTQ?
I did not know that. We could have done that a while ago.
I know.
God dang it.
Gosh darn it. Great googly moogly. You blame... Yeah, I know you blame me. But yeah, there are scholarships that are just LGBTQ. The thing of it is that...
I apply for one next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I should certainly hope you do. Because then I don't have to.
You're going to have to help me.
No, fair.
He does not like the word when I say help me.
Yeah, because I know it help me for Kai translates into doing it for me.
That was younger me. This is
3 weeks of college you.
This is gonna be next year.
Yeah, this is so this is the older, wiser 3 weeks of college you.
Nope. Probably in 5 weeks.
5 weeks of college. All right, we'll
Maybe
see.
Christmas.
Oh, wow. All right.
Maybe when I turn 19.
First midterm.
Oh, don't even get me started on midterms. That's gonna be.
Okay, so. Excuse me.
Gotta work my
Holy
way around
buckets. I
that.
think we're going to wrap this one up here because we're both yawning and it's pretty bad. So you've got homework to do.
I'm getting sniffed. Sorry.
It's not me, I swear.
It's my dog.
I wasn't sniffing. Okay. Kai let me push the button.
Well, Kai also doesn't know any better.
I don't know what they say.
I'll play it for you later.
My dog.
So if you alright, so like I said, we're gonna wrap this up. Because I think you've really hit the nail on the head here when it comes to the LGBTQ community in the school. You've learned some things. I'm sure our listeners have learned a couple of things. Are there any? I know, here we go again because it's one of those questions. Are there any pearls of wisdom? So are there anything, like a person who's a senior in high school, who is getting ready because they're going to start looking, okay? Is there anything that you would suggest as far as LGBTQ? Not, don't do drugs, stay away from, the boys, not those kind of things.
That's not gonna happen either way if I say that.
What would you say to, all right, better yet, what would you now have said to yourself when you first started looking at this school? Oh, where are the crickets? I don't have a cricket sound. Chirp, 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 chirp.
So are you telling me what?
Are you asking? I'm asking you. I'm not telling you anything.
I know.
Still quiet.
So
Still.
sorry. So
You want me to re-ask the question?
please.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry, guys.
See, 3 weeks of college, and she's like got Swiss cheese her brains.
Hey!
She was doing fractions earlier. She's working on the math.
I suck at fractions.
Okay, so what would you, now that you've been at the school for 3 weeks,
Yes.
now what you know about LGBTQ and what we've learned about scholarships and what we've learned about sororities, what would you tell yourself back when you had first come on tour of the school, when you took a tour of the college?
Well, I remember when I first went on tour, I asked seniors that are actually getting their graduation pictures what was like at this school, but I didn't think about asking if there was an LGBTQ dorm or if there was anything about LGBTQ at the dorm. So I should have thought and asked myself if there was something part of that LGBTQ at that dorm. So for any seniors out there, if you go touring at this college that you really, really like, don't be scared to ask, is there an LGBTQ event? Is there something that supports LGBTQ at that college? Don't be scared to ask.
Because, I mean, like, it wasn't even seniors. Yeah, you were asked. It was really cool. If you could have seen anybody, there were these young ladies, and they were, I think we had one that was in cosmetology class. It was just, they were just having their senior pictures done. They had just graduated.
Yeah.
And Kai just kind of walked up and said, "Hey, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt your photos, but can I ask you a question?" And everybody had the same answer to the question, was this school is phenomenal. You're going to love it here. Make the most of it. They are so engaging when it comes to their student body, and they are. They really, really are. There's something planned, I mean, like, every weekend.
Every weekend, every day.
I actually think that, like, the weekend after your midterms, I think the school has actually got a trip booked for the Pittsburgh Zoo.
Yes, and there was actually, I think last weekend, where college students could go to Knoebels.
Yeah.
And
I think the weekend before that, it was the Little League World Series.
Yes,
I mean,
it
like,
was.
it's you guys are nonstop. The reason being is there's not just students from PA there, but there's students from New York and Jersey and all over the place.
Country.
Yeah.
I think there was someone from France or
That would be cool too.
the UK. I can't remember.
So the thing of it is you wish that you would have gone to a student, gone to an advisor, asked a teacher, asked somebody, hey, as far as the LGBTQ community goes, where does the school stand? Where does the school have programs? Does it, where's the protection for an LGBTQ student? Questions that really should, again, a person who is a part of the community really wants to know those things. And parents who have kids that are part of the LGBTQ community want to, make sure that their kids are safe. The thing for us was, and this was the big thing. You asked that your junior year. We went to see them. I think you were.
I was a junior.
You were a junior.
I was just coming out of sophomore year, and I was becoming a junior.
So Leo and I hadn't come out as transgender
No,
yet.
you
There
guys
there
have not.
really wasn't an LGBTQ commodity in this house.
Probably not.
No, so we wouldn't have thought to ask those questions.
I think I was the first one, actually, but I didn't come out yet to you. But then Leo did.
I hate to break this to you, but I was the first one. It happened even before you were born.
Then never mind, guys.
Yes. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up. Like I said, I really appreciate you spending at least the last 40 minutes hanging out with me, sitting here, BSing.
It's now 10:30 in the freaking morning.
It's now 10:30
the
at
morning.
night. It's not in the morning. We have not been doing this for 12 hours.
Oh
It's
my
at night.
God.
But like I said, I really do appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You're so awesome.
Don't lie.
Okay. All right, guys, I want you to remember a couple things. One, you are awesome. You are amazing.
You're beautiful just the way you are.
And you know what? It's okay to be you. Self-made. You know what? Somebody posted on Facebook, I saw this the other day, it was a picture of a mom holding up a little baby, and she was talking about the fact that she chose the gender for the baby because the baby didn't have a say. But then the next picture in the cartoon was her hugging this little girl who had decided that she wanted to be a boy, and it was okay that once the child was able to make up their mind, they decided their gender. So remember that. You have absolutely every right to be...
That's actually fair.
I liked it.
I think that's fair.
I liked it. Like I said, I think you have every right to be you. You have every right to be happy, whether you're L, you're G, you're B, you're T, you're Q, and you're I, and you're A, and everything in between. It is okay. And you know what? If you're a supporter and you're cisgender or you're heterosexual and you know you're just you and you're okay with the way you are, then guess what? That's fine and beautiful too. We still love you too. We don't
we don't judge here.
We do. I'm very judgy. I'm very judgy. But we don't, you know what? We don't discriminate with our love. Leo is definitely judgy. He's like staring over Ty's shoulder at me right now. You didn't want to participate. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, be yourself. Be true to yourself. And we love you guys. And we will see you on Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Joining us on this episode of Let's Talk Trans. We hope you had fun. We know we did. If you like us and you want to hear more, follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, or Google Podcast, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from. Until next time, stay true to you.